Welcome to the Iced Coffee Hour. This is BeatTheBush and Maybe
we should just
let's roll with it. I like it.
Thank you so much for coming all the way to Las Vegas and coming on our podcast.
I am glad to be here.
This is a really special episode for me because it's weird for me to see you in person because I've been watching your channel before I even started YouTube. 5 years ago, you were one of the first people to make videos about financial independence, retiring early, investing. You were like, to me, the pioneer of the space.
Why, thank you.
I looked to your channel.
Look at you.
No, I know. But I looked at your channel when I first started, and I looked at the videos you were making, and like that was my goal. I loved your videos.
Thank you. Thank you. And those are all about everything, though. So that's not your goal, though, right?
You know what?
You're not thinking of like doing like random videos like I do.
No, but your original FIRE videos, your financial independence retire early videos, inspired me to talk about the topic too. And I looked at your videos because I saw back then you were getting like 20, 30,000 views on some of those videos. And I was like, wow, there are 20,000 people out there who want to watch videos on YouTube about retiring early. So in my mind, I was like, well, if you're getting 20,000 views, I would have a chance to then get let's say even 25% of that. So like if I could get 5,000 people to watch my video on that, you kind of paved the way for me to follow in your footsteps in the very beginning and make videos about that topic.
I appreciate that. Wow. What can I say to that? Okay.
The one question I've always had, I just want to start here because you have, I think, just such an interesting story, and you've taken a path that most people don't take. You retired at a very young age. You were in the tech industry. You decided to go YouTube full time. You decided to work at an Amazon facility, doing some odd jobs here and there, but you've remained somewhat retired this entire time in your 30s. The biggest question I want to know is, why did you come up with the name BeatTheBush?
When you start a YouTube channel, well, at least when I started it, it was not as a finance channel. I decided to just create something that is easy to remember, just a couple syllables. And you know why it's 3 syllables? Because PewDiePie.
Oh my gosh.
No way. It's like, hey, PewDiePie. Oh, okay. Let me make something that is, very short, right? So, it's either beat around the bush. Okay, let me shorten it. Beat the bush. Right. But then later on, people are like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That kind of has different meanings here. Right. I never thought about that dirty meaning. Right. I never came to my mind until it's too late. And then by the time I had all these finance videos and stuff, people kind of got attached to those. They want to watch those more.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, I gotta run with that, and that's the channel name. So like it wasn't like, oh, let me create a finance channel. Let me think of a name that is like Fire Bush or something, right? Like that, right? But
it would also have another meaning to it. Fire Bush.
So it's like I think many YouTube channels are kind of randomly named like that. And not started from the very beginning.
So at what point did you realize it's too late? Because I remember I subscribed to you you were at like maybe 10,000 subscribers.
Oh, was it
that?
Really?
Yeah, at the very beginning. And it was some of the early, I think it was maybe either the FIRE or the credit card videos that you had posted way back then. It's like 5 years ago. And I remember thinking to myself, Beat the Bush. I knew you didn't have that meaning to it, but I was like,
what meaning? What you guys keep pointing out?
Do you not understand?
I don't understand.
Are you serious?
I don't. I know.
When you
could think dirty.
Yeah, Jack. Beat the bush. You could beat the bush.
Oh, okay.
That's
I feel like
the
that's a
meaning.
stretch. It's like, of
It's
course
not.
he wasn't like implying something
Obviously,
like
like I've seen your channel. Like I knew that, but then the name itself kind of makes you question. Well, Beat the Bush.
that. Okay, that makes sense. All right, I understand now.
That has gotten me into kind of. I think it has prevented me from kind of being more public, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. Just the name itself, because it's like if someone mentions the channel, it's like, what are you talking about? Sometimes people
Really?
chuckle and stuff, right? So
Yeah.
I totally get that, but it's there. It's hard to change. I could change it. We'll see.
It wouldn't be the same. Give us a little bit of your backstory here, because I know you retired early retired, we'll say in your 30s, but walk us through like how you're able to do that. You were living on almost nothing every month. You saved the vast majority of your income, earning an engineer salary, right, in the Bay Area.
That sounds worse than it is because, I live comfortably. I spend an amount where, I'm eating, I'm paying the bills. It's not. It's just that I'm not living an extravagant life. I don't like jet everywhere. I still do like back when I was an engineer, maybe like 2 international trips a year still.
Okay.
I still keep my expenses really low.
So what was your process like through like, let's say college? Did you go to college? How were your grades? How did you land a job right afterwards?
I went to UCLA.
Okay.
I got really good grades, straight A's. For master's program, I got pretty good grades, and that's a double E program. You have to do internships a lot throughout college in order to land a job afterwards. So that's what I did. I worked for, I think it's around 10 years as an engineer before I started YouTube, probably 2 or 3 years before I quit the last job.
Got it. How much were you making throughout that process?
How much? Anywhere between 80 to 120 base salary.
Okay.
And then, there's RSUs and stuff that you add on top of that.
And you started making that money right after getting out of your master's program. So you're probably what, like 25?
Yes.
25.
How were you paying for college at the time?
See, my parents, they didn't earn a lot.
Yeah.
So I got student loans and student aid. I think to put things in this perspective, I owed about $20,000 from undergraduate.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
from UCLA. Yeah,
for the entire thing. So then the rest of it is subsidies. About $20K was subsidies, and for master's program, $20K was out of my own pocket, and I had $20K more of debt just from the master's program. So at the end of it, I had about $40K of debt.
Okay. How long did that take you to pay off? And when you started working, did you go straight to the Bay Area? Because that's expensive. It's not cheap to live there.
Yes. I mean, my parents live there, so then I just automatically moved back.
Oh. Did you live with your parents then until you were able to pay off your debt?
Yeah.
And then that's smart. I think more people should do that.
I didn't really think about paying off debt. Like at the time, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna. I actually there's a program where they allowed you to pay minimum for 4 years, and then they ramp it up. So that's what I did, and I didn't really like tackle that until years later, where I'm like, hey, I got a bunch of money now. Let me just put some in the student loan. So I had this habit where like if I come back from a bar or something, and then I'll be like, hey, I'm a little buzzed. Let me pay my student loans.
No, serious.
I'm like, here, there's another $500.
That's hilarious.
That's the most wholesome story I've ever heard.
Anyone else gets drunk, they make terrible decisions. You're just like, oh, pay off my student loans.
So it's like, yeah. So then, when I do that enough, it's like, oh, okay. It started getting really little, and then in the last like $10,000, I'm like, whatever, just put it there just to make it go away. And because it's really mentally taxing, I guess, to have a bill come in every single month. So
I understand that. So when you moved out, then how did you balance a frugal lifestyle? Were your parents frugal, or where did this come from?
I try to think about where this all came from. I really don't know. Like I got an allowance when I was little, and I tended to save about 95% of it. Like it was a small allowance. In Hong Kong, it's like they gave me $2 Hong Kong dollars, and you can buy one drink, one soda, right? And I save most of that. My siblings are not frugal like I am. My parents are not. So I think it's just mostly based on kind of like a relatively low income family. And then I'm like, okay, I need to save and not splurge on stuff. Maybe it's like a Asian thing. I don't know.
I was the same way. Like neither of my parents were necessarily like big savers, but for me, I always like saving. Any Christmas money I would get, holiday, birthday money, whatever, I wouldn't spend it. I put it in an envelope in cash, and I would just count it like every week or so, and then I'd be so excited to add like a $5 bill to that, and I would just sit there and just count it. I liked it. I did not want to spend it.
I do the same thing
yeah.
now. Even,
Yeah.
Right? Like instead of counting money, I have a spreadsheet.
That's interesting. Growing up as a kid, my parents always had to tell me to not spend my money because I would want to spend my money up until I was like, let's say maybe like 14. Then I started becoming pretty frugal. But up until then, yeah, I was like, I definitely wanted to buy the newest video game, always have like the best video game console, stuff like that. But by the way, guys, for everyone to understand, everyone knows how frugal Graham is, right? Extremely frugal. Graham looks up to Mr. Bush, Beat the Bush, for his level of frugality.
Only because I'm so frugal?
Yeah, well, a multitude of reasons.
I look at your videos and I see you going through these obstacles to save like what I would like $5-6, and I look at that and it's like I used to follow that and I would do anything. Now I not necessarily, but I still look to those videos because I find the sense of adventure and like trying to save that extra like $5-6. Like, I like that. I like watching it.
Okay, it's like entertainment. It's like, hey, that's pretty fun looking, but nah, I'm not gonna do that myself.
I'm not gonna do that myself. It's too much for me. But I could live vicariously through you.
Look, even I have. This is just a recent development. I'm like.
But first, guys, this is huge. We got a sponsor, Coinbase. Hey, Alex, do you identify as crypto curious? Basically meaning you've heard all of the hype around crypto. It gets you excited, but you're a little too nervous to go and buy some for yourself.
Yeah, actually, I think the biggest thing that stops me from buying crypto is just all the complexity around it.
It sounds very complicated to go and get some crypto, but Coinbase makes it extremely easy, and it is the best buying and selling platform for everything crypto. Coinbase has some of the most popular cryptocurrencies on the market, and they make it super easy and accessible to everyone. On a personal note, guys, I actually started investing in cryptocurrencies probably back in 2017-ish, and I actually got started on Coinbase 4 years ago, and it has been my main trading platform ever since, and I still hold all my coins there today.
And I heard it's also super secure too. I heard that millions of people in over 100 different countries actually trust Coinbase with their digital assets.
And I know you guys like free stuff, just like Alex and I. So Coinbase is here to help. If you guys actually go to coinbase.com/ICH, they will give you $10 in free Bitcoin. Super exciting.
Wow, I love free Bitcoin.
Me too, Alex. Me too.
So sign up at coinbase.com/ICH to get your $10 in free Bitcoin. This offer is for a limited time only, so sign up today.
That's coinbase.com/ICH for $10 in free Bitcoin. Thank you so much, Coinbase, for sponsoring this podcast. And back to the podcast.
Okay, I have a video on making almond milk, right? I'm like, hey, everybody, you make your own almond milk. And then, recently I'm like, okay, this is too much work. So then I started buying, like the commercial stuff. So then I saved that time.
How long would it take for you to make like a pint of almond milk?
I think it goes by 2 cups and it takes me about 5-10 minutes or so. But then it's a lot of hassle because you got to get your hands wet and you got to squeeze the almond.
So now it's a life of luxury for you, is what you're saying. You're buying almond.
I'm only like picking out the really, really cringeworthy frugal stuff, right? And generally, I think in retrospect, it might have been a mistake to push that hard. Like,
I'm sure it's some like character development, right? Like,
I'm changing,
right?
Character development.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of like a morphing of myself, I guess. Yeah.
We'll come back to that. I'm curious though. When you moved out on your own, you must know what your expenses are. I mean, I've seen your spreadsheets before we go over them on YouTube. You're meticulous with your spending and your expenses. What were your expenses like when you first moved out?
40,000, about 24 or 25,000 was the mortgage, and then the rest was expenses.
Yeah. And so you bought a place. You never rented. You went straight to saving, bought a place.
Yeah, that was the whole
it's
idea.
Very smart.
That's the whole idea with my parents. I think they're the one that goes, you got to buy a house. You got to buy a house. You got to buy a house.
Yeah.
And so they're like, stay at home. Save money.
Give you great advice.
Save for the down payment, and that I did. And I did have to pay for rent in college for like, a few years and stuff. So, but right after, you get the house and then you get a head start.
Yeah, that's what I did with my son Jack. I told him live at home, and I gave Jack free rent.
No, you didn't.
Well,
$300 a month.
Whatever, $300 a month for.
But yes,
for basically for utilities. So whatever Jack was using up is basically just like that's what I'd want back. Yeah. So minuscule rent, but I was just like, you got to just save.
So I did that, and I've never officially, technically, kind of rented my own apartment or place. So now I've just went straight into buying. Yeah, it's a great thing to do.
Yeah. Like, I mean, especially, it worked for the past 10 years, at least with real estate prices going up.
Yeah. So when did you buy? 10 years ago, 2011.
2010.
That's like the bottom of the market.
So that's why I say I'm lucky.
Wow.
Like, that was right at the time where I saved just enough to buy, but because right before the downturn, I didn't have enough to buy a house.
Wow.
So like it came down, and then I'm like, yes, now it's my chance, and then I jump in, and then it only went up from there.
So what price did you buy it for?
510, 20 or so. Now, now it's double.
Wow. I would imagine it would be worth because it's a townhouse, right?
Yeah, it's
townhouse.
So it's like two units with the same wall.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call that.
Yeah, like a kind of like a dupe. Yeah, well, townhouse, but that's incredible. I would imagine it would be worth more like 1.1 right now, 1.2
around
given
there.
The current market.
Depending on the what do you call the estimate of I use Zillow, and then it just kind of goes up and down in terms of their estimates.
Got it. Okay. Is the mortgage paid off right now?
Yes,
it is.
Jeez.
Congratulations.
Wow.
And what age did you decide to retire? Because that was the big thing for me when you decided to be like, I'm going to quit my job. I have enough in investments. What age were you? What prompted you to take a step back? Because I would say at the current trajectory, if you were making 120 plus RSUs, keep that up a little bit longer, then it's that you're at 200 pretty quickly. 250. How do you walk away from that?
Because I saw that YouTube could replace engineering income completely, and for a while it did, and then I decided to I only realized that I could retire sometime after I did full-time YouTube. So it's like, and then that's like a dangerous thing. This whole fire thing, I'd say people really have to take that with a grain of salt, because I kind of use myself as a guinea pig of sorts, right? Because I'm like, ooh, I'm working. I need to retire, and after I retire, I can do nothing and just sit around and be lazy, do whatever I want, right? And that's essentially what I did. And I'm glad to say that I've been through it, and I can say that it's not that fun to do whatever you want.
I want to hear about that experience. How old were you when you decided to do that?
Okay, so now how old am I? It's 2000. I am 41 right now.
I would never have guessed. Man, you look young.
Thank you. Sunblock.
That's what Mason keeps telling me, we're doing sunscreen, and now it's bad because now I'm getting the I don't know if you could see it, Chad. Like when I do this
squint lines.
Yeah, I see the squint lines. Like they last longer. Like before, when I was young, like when I was 20, I could do this and they'll go away immediately. But now you see.
Oh no,
it's bad. I don't like it.
So that must have been about 2 years ago, year and a half ago, where I decided, hey, I'm just going to try to I caught myself trying to do as little as possible on YouTube. Mm-hmm. I'm guilty.
Yeah,
as charged.
Why?
You might have noticed. You're like, hey, everybody has noticed. They're like, hey, how come? What are you doing? How come there's less videos? How come the quality and all that?
Yeah.
So,
well, I'll tell you from my perspective. I think you went full-time YouTube and you were posting a new video every day, right?
Yes. So then I hustled like crazy while I was at work. Engineering job for the 1 year before I quit.
Yeah.
I hustled about a year after. And then afterwards, I'm like, hey, look, I could do nothing. So then I think that kind of got into my head.
What did you do all day when you were doing nothing?
Think about life.
Hmm.
At first, you can do whatever you want. So, watch a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
I watched Star Trek. It was fun. I watched all of them.
Nice.
All of them that I wanted to watch, right? And then I think about like minimalism,
Yeah.
right? Trying to declutter, trying to think about, what's the meaning of life?
Mhm.
You get kind of deep into that, and then I think if you can listen to someone else, it's probably better to like go, oh, I want to retire and go do it yourself for 2 years, and then realize that it's kind of boring, kind of sucks, and then.
But first, we want to thank Grammarly for sponsoring this episode of the Iced Coffee Hour podcast. Recently, Graham has been looking for ways to save some time around the office here.
And he quickly realized it's actually the little things that add up, especially in the long run.
So in light of this, he's going to actually be banning bathroom breaks, water breaks, and that was a joke, right?
I think so.
I hope so.
All right, guys, we're just kidding about that. But seriously, something like writing can take up a lot of time, especially if you want it to be the best it can be. Graham is always writing scripts for the main channel, and recently we installed Grammarly on his computer. Now he can write away to his little heart's content and get real-time feedback. It's like having a professional writer look through your work whenever you want.
With Grammarly Premium, you can get clarity suggestions, which will help you get your point across quickly without using unnecessary or redundant words. And they also provide vocab suggestions to replace overused words and phrases. And they have tons more amazing features that make writing easier than ever. So hit send with confidence and get your point across more effectively with Grammarly Premium.
Get 20% off Grammarly Premium at grammarly.com/icedcoffee. That's grammarly.com/iced-coffee.
So thank you so much, Grammarly, for sponsoring this episode, and back to the podcast.
Back from that,
My
yeah.
impression was that you were more like a homebody. Who
I am,
would
and
be-
I'm-
Yeah.
I don't know how much an introvert you are, but
Very
like
much, yeah.
I'm probably more introverted than both of you combined.
I don't know
if you're
about that. I don't know about that. If I don't have to leave the house for a week straight, I don't think
you
I
can't
would.
be
Maybe
because-
one. Yeah.
You can't be because you're inviting me over to have this coffee
That's
hour,
true.
right?
I guess so. Yeah.
But I'm so much so that I haven't done these podcasts before.
Yeah, I know this is the first one.
This
I think,
is
right?
one like, yeah.
Yeah.
I
I'm
think I
honored,
did.
yeah.
I did one other, not really a podcast, but it was more like a collaboration. But that's like a rare thing, and I've got and if anybody's watching that have invited me, I deeply apologize because I'm super introverted. I'm like, I just want to stay at home. I don't want to talk to anybody.
We tried doing this 2 years ago. I mean, it didn't work out.
Oh, you're gonna bring that up.
But I didn't see that as your fault. I think our timing was just kind of off. That time, I think you were out of town for one weekend that we were going up to the area to visit a house nearby.
Yeah. I would chuck that towards me being kind of like too introverted.
fair.
It was like my like. Yeah,
That's fair. That's right. No, I could tell because right before COVID hit, I saw your video of you prepping. You called it, by the way. You said that
a few months before.
Yes, you said, I think it was about a month before, you said, there's no way we're not going into lockdown. They're going to do this, so I'm going to prepare myself ahead of time. So you locked down 2 weeks prior to everyone else, and you called it.
People are like, "You're crazy."
Yeah, but you were right. Now, I don't know if that extra 2 weeks on top of everything else, but
I guess it didn't matter. But at least it lets you buy supplies. But in the end, the supplies didn't matter too much.
yeah,
Because it didn't pan out to be as crazy as I thought.
right.
So about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, is when you said that you decided to go like take it easy off of YouTube, and then you weren't working at the time. You wanted to just basically full on retire.
I think it's more. It's not something I decided. It was kind of like my mind just kind of fell into it. Like I was kind of like, why am I hustling so hard? Why am I, doing this, doing that? I just got lazy. It's like when you have when your retirement number reached its point, your goal, right? You're like, oh, I'm there. Let me take a break.
You know what it is? It's diminishing returns. It's like in the very beginning, going from like 1 to 2, you doubled. Going from 2 to 4, you doubled. But when you have 100, going from 100 to 101, not quite the same enjoyment as going from 1 to 2.
Once it reached there, it's like, oh, I don't have to do anything. I just let just try to invest it and let it ride, and I can just goof off.
Yeah. Now you've had some really good investments and some really bad investments. The one investment I remember you making was in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about this?
That was just more of a coincidence again. Because a lot of subscribers just kept on asking me for Bitcoin. So like after like months of this, right, I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to look into it. So I finally looked into it, and then I got some, and then it turns out, it skyrocketed.
What price do you buy
soon
in?
After? It was kind of like gradual, like I forget, 2,000, 3,000 or something. But then I ended up selling at like 1,750.
Right.
But that was I don't know, 5x. I remember it was a 5x gain.
Yeah.
So, it's a nice chunk of change, because the total I made wasn't that much. I didn't put like, multiple tens of thousands or something. I think I made a total of 20, 30K or something like that.
That's still fantastic, though. That's a good return.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you ever buy back in Bitcoin?
No.
What do you think of it now?
It's kind of high.
You think so?
It's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's kind of stable. So then it's not something I want to put my money in for huge returns.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because there's the other cryptocurrency that I bought into.
Yeah,
Dogecoin.
Yeah. So what prompted you? You put a lot of money in Dogecoin.
What prompted me?
Why Doge?
It was, I think it made the headlines in the news when it did the first ramp up to around 5 cents. It went from 1 cent to 5 cents. Mm-hmm. And then that was also a coincidence, because I was like, I need something that will get me a Roadster. Do you want a Roadster, by the way?
I would if he's ever going to release it, but I don't think he's going to release it. Listen, I think the Roadster was always this little carrot he was dangling in front of all the Tesla owners. And here's the thing. I think the Roadster came out, like 6 years ago, like the first designs of it. It was a while ago. And I think now the car looks outdated, unfortunately. I think the entire car has to now be redesigned. And I don't think there's any way he's going to sell that car for $250. I don't think so. Not when the Plaid is selling for $150. I don't think he's able to manufacture this car for $250. Not $100,000 more.
That's the Founders Edition.
That's the Founders Edition. But even $200, I think it's got to be more than that. I don't think the battery is capable of doing 500 miles. I don't think. I think he has to improve the car in so many ways, because right now the Plaid 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. This Roadster has to do that in 1.7. It's got to be now.
I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna sprinkle some magic on it.
My guess is at some point they're probably gonna cancel the Roadster, refund money, which is gonna be a nightmare. But they're gonna come out with something else, or they're gonna say, if you put a deposit down on this, we'll offer you either the money back, or you could get first in line on this next car that we're coming out with. I think it's got to be. It has to. The same with the Cybertruck. I've been saying this for a while. I think the Cybertruck is such a long way from actually being a roadworthy car, and I put down a deposit on that just for fun. If they come out with the Cybertruck, I'll get one, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Same with the Roadster. Yeah.
So about the Roadster, I was like, I really want one. So then I decided to find somewhere to invest that would have huge gains. And Dogecoin kind of fit my criteria. That's why I put money in it. And I'm like, okay, Dogecoin, it looks like you can do, what was it? It can do like 5-fold reasonably, or whatever number of fold, right? So I'm like, that has a good chance of doing what I wanted to do. So that's why I invested in that.
How much you put in?
Initially, what was it, like 50K? Right now I have about 72K in it. So I have a even number of around 1,000,000 Dogecoins.
Wow. But what prompts you to do because that is a risky investment, and it could just as easily go from 5 cents down to a penny. Why risk so much money?
I didn't see it as a risk.
You didn't. Why?
I saw it as I saw the risk as highly reduced because I saw all the things match up. It's like Elon Musk, that and that's probably the main thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I looked into it, and I mean, it worked out. Right now, it's still like plus 200% or so. So
you have not sold it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have plans to sell it, or are you waiting for that 1 year and you get long-term capital gains?
1 year, and then I'll see what happens. I feel like if I wait long enough, it might do another what do you call skyrocketing
Sure
thing, whatever ramp up that it does, it might happen, and if it does, then I can be there to receive.
Do you think it'll reach $1?
I maybe.
Okay.
But I think I don't know. Like I can't predict the future. Right? I don't know if Dogecoin's gonna do that. But I always think that you need to put something somewhere to get lucky, right? You gotta put your, what do you call it? Like place your bets, kind of.
Yeah,
like.
sure.
If you don't have a couple things everywhere, just so that you have the possibility of something like that happening, then it's never gonna happen.
So why don't you put a little money in Bitcoin right now?
Because I know it did really well. Okay.
Yeah.
like it went from, what was it? Is it like 30, 40K or something? No, it's 60.
Yeah,
it doubled.
61 in 35 days.
Sometimes
Nuts.
you can't catch them all. You can't catch them all. Right. I missed Shiba.
Yeah.
Inu.
Oh yeah.
Like,
what do you think of that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, maybe if I like put all my Dogecoin at the time into Shiba, then, oh my gosh, then I have a yacht or something.
Yeah,
right?
you would have probably $20 million had you just moved Dogecoin to Shiba 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, or like even longer. It's ridiculous, right? Yeah. There's a lot of missed opportunity, but the hard thing is to find out which one, and sometimes something that you would actually follow through and actually invest.
Yeah. So far, every bet that I've made on that, I call them bets because that's what they are. They're bets. Everyone has lost money. So usually I'll tie these bets to how many likes a video will get. And so I did this with Dogecoin. I did this with AMC. And I did this recently with Shiba Inu. And so I bought, one was, I think, $10,000 of AMC. I bought that. That's down like 30%, but I'm just going to hold that. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
The other one was 10,000 of Dogecoin. I think I'm down 35% on that too. And then I bought Shiba Inu. Guess how many Shiba Inus I bought?
I don't.
$10,000 worth of?
Like
No. How many of them?
like
I
a
think
billion,
I
1 billion.
No,
Shiba.
not quite. I'll just tell you. 260 something million Shiba Inu coins. It was like $7,500.
That's a lot of coins.
Yeah, 260 million.
How has
of
that
them.
treated you?
I think I'm down a little bit, like briefly, but I said I was gonna hold it for a year, and I'm intending to hold it for a year. But I also set a limit order to sell just in the event there's a run. So that way I don't have to think about it. But I set a very high limit where I'd essentially, like, if I double my money, I'd be stupid not to sell it. So it's like, it's there. I'm not gonna sell it, but
It could happen. It could very easily happen.
Yeah. So because I've lost money on everything else, I'm like, at least if this does well, I don't want to lose money on this. I need something to just hold me over on the others. Now I might tax loss harvest Dogecoin at the end of the year, because if I'm down, I could use that to at least offset something else and buy back in, lower my cost basis on that. Same with AMC, but yeah, they've not gone well for me.
I'm sorry to hear.
It's okay. It's okay. The other thing I want to bring up to you, you got a job working at an Amazon facility.
Yes, I
Why?
did. That was fun.
And how
that
much
was a
were you
waste
getting-
of time. Don't
Yeah.
ever do that.
What made you do that?
That's
Was
the
it-
whole. That's the whole. Look, I think I've come to the realization that I don't know why I did this, but I feel like I've wasted a lot of time. Like, this has to do with like the whole being too frugal type of thing. Well, that's a waste of time too. So
I never thought I would hear you say
this is new.
You got to make a video on this.
If you talked to me maybe a month ago, this is not what I would say.
What changed?
It's the job.
Really?
Yeah, like I guess maybe it's kind of like what do you call those things? Pilgrimage. Those guys that goes to the temples and stuff. Whatever that is, right? Is like going to the Amazon job is like a transformative experience, I guess.
Tell us about that.
If that is the case, then it is worth it, right?
I would. Sorry to interrupt. I would have the opposite experience because how much were you making at Amazon?
$15.25.
That would make me more appreciative of like not spending money because I'm like, if this is the alternative of working really hard for $15 an hour, that means that me going and getting Chipotle with guacamole and extra meat is $15. That's an hour of my life now.
No, that's not how you think about this.
But that's how I thought about it.
This is how I thought about it, which is, this is such hard work. I work 3 shifts of 4 hours each before I thought this is not fun anymore because I don't know if you want to know the details. I just scan stuff.
Yeah, I do. I want to. Yeah, what did you
do? You either do a thing called ambient or a thing called chilled, which is in the refrigerator, right? What you basically do, you have a cart, you open up some bags, and then the little scanner tells you where to get the item. So you go to the location because it tells you exactly where it is. And then you scan the location and it goes, okay, you got to get these 3 items of the same thing. So you pick it out, you scan those and you put it in the bag. Mm-hmm. Repeat until everything is complete and you close the bags and put it on the shelf. All this is, it goes step by step. The scanner tells you what to do. But after doing this for 3 shifts, I think I started feeling like this is really hard work. This is like getting me like sore. Like after every shift, right? I'm like I just can't do anything else the rest of the day. I'm just kind of like I needed that reminder of how hard it is to earn money.
Now, I'm curious, why can't that be replaced with a robot? It seems like if all you're doing is grabbing one item, putting it over here, why haven't they developed that? That's got to be automated at some point.
I think that partly is because the items themselves are in strange shapes, and it's really hard to do robotics to grab things like chips. That might be hard because you might crush chips. If you do eggs, you need to somehow open the eggs, so check all the eggs and put rubber bands on them and then put it right. The handling, I guess maybe they just haven't gotten the robotics for the hands figured out.
So you said you worked 3 shifts, right? 3 or 4 shifts to decide?
In total, I worked 8.
8 shifts, and how long was each shift?
4 hours each.
So you worked 32 hours.
And I had 2 training days of 4.5 hours before I started the shift.
And then you realize this is not for me, and you decide.
After the 3rd shift, I'm like, this is really, this is really not for me. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna do something similar like that again.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. But why take that job versus I'm gonna make a YouTube video and in the same time we'll make 5 times that amount?
Why take that job instead? Because I thought it was interesting. Like the first 3 shifts was very, very interesting for me. I think it was worth it. But after that, it was a waste of time. Right? Because see, look, I learned all about it, right? I get to go there. I was actually happy and excited to go and get interviewed. Or was there an interview? I forget. But like there's basically not much. You just take your picture and stuff, right? And make sure do a drug test. They drug test you. And after the learning about it is worth the time.
Got it.
So I really wasted 5 shifts.
Yeah.
20 hours.
And during the application process, I'm sure you spoke to somebody, right? Like, did they see your resume and think that maybe like, hey, this guy's a little
asks.
That's what
overqualified?
I was literally about to ask that. This guy's a master's, UCLA,
I only graduated high school on my resume, so
no way.
So I omitted everything.
Why do you think that they wouldn't have hired you?
No, they would definitely not.
Just in case they didn't, because I wanted to go have some fun.
So that was so what was your like objective with going and getting this job? It was just to learn a new experience, spice up your life a little bit, and see what happens.
Yes. I remember I did the same thing with a couple of other jobs too.
What were some of the other jobs?
Amazon warehouse.
Yeah.
Uber, DoorDash.
Yeah.
And I worked at my friend's these dumpling place where they wrap glutinous rice with leaves.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do.
Yeah.
So it took me 2 full days to learn this.
And how long?
I learned it.
How long did you work each of these jobs? Was it still like quick turnover, like 8 shifts?
Yeah. Well, the
you have a history here. Yeah.
So the dumpling place is 2 days. Uber, I did it for a week. DoorDash, a couple days.
And it's all just for the experience. Nothing has to do with the money or anything.
Well, it's nice to get paid a little bit, but yeah, mostly to try it out.
And how does this give you a new appreciation for money? It seems like your mentality towards this is completely different to Graham's. How does it make you want to spend more and live a little more luxury?
It made me realize that I was wasting my time because I could be earning more, either engineering. If they would hire me back, I don't think they will now. By the way,
Why?
Because I've been out of the job workforce for too long. It's been like 3 years.
Is that really that long?
Yeah.
3 years?
Even
Even 4?
I'm sure you could do an entry level something.
At
right?
least
Like,
3. It's
I
at
don't
least
think
3.
That's that bad. I don't know engineering.
They don't like people that kind of start a YouTube channel and went rogue.
Got it.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah. So,
you realized that you could be making a lot more money doing another job, and that's somehow how you realized you should spend more money?
correct. So then I realized that it was a waste of time to do that. If I wasted my time packing groceries, what else am I wasting my time on? Right. So that kind of like translated to other things where like, if I'm like pinching pennies and stuff, that's wasting time too. So like that kind of got me, like that kind of flipped the switch. This is like whole new.
Now I
paradigm.
understand that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's basically upon choosing to spend your time on more things that you really enjoy doing.
No, it's more about the most effective use of your time, I think. Like not really like most enjoyment, but like, I could be doing something else earning, $50 an hour, right? And I can use that money to pay for whatever instead. So why would I waste my time doing something that only saves, let's say, $30 an hour?
But with this
Right.
newfound like idea of money, are you going to go and get a high paying job and then start paying for these smaller like luxuries?
No, I don't have to, right? Because I'm still retired,
Uh-huh.
but I might make more YouTube videos.
So I am curious what sort of YouTube videos you want to make. I have to say a few of your videos that were my favorite were the ones where you would post them and I'd look at this and be like, I can't believe this is a video. And a few examples of that would be one, putting on pants without using your arms. Have you seen this?
I have not,
Put
no.
on pants with put on your pants with no hands.
Yes, I got to show you this, Jack.
I don't even know if it's still public. Basically, it's like this viral trend a couple years ago where this guy he have these pants that are just kind of scrunched up on the floor that makes it easy for him to put them on. So he's like just with his boxers on, and then he puts his leg in to put the pants on. You can't use your hands, and so you kind of like, wiggle around until the pants needs to get above, get to your waist. So that's, I don't know, that's fun.
It was like a 7-minute video of
me struggling
of you putting on pants without hands, and this is like you would go from like investing, Bitcoin, financial independence, and then I think what was really funny is that you posted a video like a few days prior to this, being like, I retired or like quit my job or something like that, and this is like the second video after that of putting on his pants for 7 minutes, and someone commented, like the top comment was like, this is what early retirement is like. But funny. I loved that video. There were a few others that I really liked, and I want to go to your channel right now to talk about them because I thought some of these were so creative. Videos like how to fix a hole in your jeans.
Oh, yeah, that's like a DIY one.
Yep. I like this one. How I saved 100% of my job income. BeatTheBush, and that inspired one of my videos of I think it was how I save 100% of my income.
Mm-hmm.
It was an old video, I think a few years ago, but your video inspired that one. And I like this, how to fix a zipper, 50 seconds long. I like this one, a 7-minute video explaining urinal etiquette. And look at this, there's 3 urinals, A, B, and C. And if someone's using A, you never use B. This is something. What? Are you serious, Jack?
No, of
there's
course.
a whole.
Serious, dude.
We gotta give you the quiz.
Yeah, it's like, but it's like. First of all, I would never think that this would need to be explained. It's just, I think men are known. They're born.
Did this result from some poor experience that you may have had? Like,
well, that resulted from some stuff I saw somewhere else.
Oh, okay,
with a similar idea, and I decided to make it into a video. There's a harder one, right? You need to get into the more advanced questions, right? If you have 4 urinals, right? And then there's a big guy on the first one, and then there's a skinnier guy on the last one. Which one do you use?
I wait. Believe it or not, I do not use.
Or maybe you use the third one.
I don't
right?
do that.
You'd probably go next to the skinnier guy, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the
thing.
No, the worst part is because I wear a lot of flip flops, and if you use a urinal next to someone and you're wearing flip,
gosh, so nasty.
I'm just saying, believe it or not, the top of your shoes may have some residue on them, particles. Yeah, and I've had it a couple times where I went flip flops next to someone and I did feel something. So now I no longer I will wait if I'm wearing flip flops.
Did you like it?
Well, I think I should answer that on a different form of media.
Wow,
did I like it?
I can't believe you.
I purposely
avoided the question.
I keep emergency flip flops in my back pocket just to switch into.
Maybe you can just put some paper towel on and then go in.
So
a shield.
Yeah, I try to avoid ever using a urinal. I do not like urinals.
So you use the stall?
Yes.
Dude, you put up the seat though, right?
Most of the time. But here's the thing,
dude.
I'm gonna be honest. If the seat is disgusting,
then get toilet paper and grab the seat and move it up.
Listen, it's not my. I'm not gonna clean someone else's mess everywhere. Like sometimes.
So what if everyone was like you though?
So here's the thing. If the toilet's clean, I leave it spotless. But if there's already something on there, I don't clean it because some of them are nasty, like really disgusting. I do not want to flip up a urinal where there's toilet paper and like just matter on the seat itself. Like I'm not going to touch that thing. I'm not getting anywhere close to that. I just want to get in and out in private.
I don't know. I think that there is a net benefit, and you have to leave a net positive there, Graham. You have to lift up that seat. No. You got to put it up.
I leave it the same as I found it. Listen,
you have to have a net positive.
I leave
with your
it the
actions.
same. I leave it the same as I go in. I don't make
you leave it worse
because
because obviously if the seat's down, there has to be some splatter damage on the seat. Okay?
Maybe that was for you. I'm good.
So you shoot straight and narrow. You're telling me it's like a laser beam?
Yes.
Then there are some issues there. I don't.
Years of practice. A few of your other videos. I liked this one, The Importance of Looking Poor.
Yeah, that was a popular one.
That was one of your most viewed videos.
People like that one. I don't know why. It turned out to be a comedy, but it wasn't meant to be one.
Yeah,
it was serious.
But I think that's why people liked it, was because you approached this topic that people, first of all, wouldn't think about, but it makes sense. When I hear that, I'm like, it makes sense to me not to, in certain situations, not to overdress or not to appear wealthy. And you approached it with a very tactile approach that to me made sense. But I think for people who didn't know you or know the context, they would go into this being like, and just dismiss it. The other video I liked of yours is that, it's going back to the frugality aspect, is that you went on a trip with your Tesla, and you didn't want to spend, I think, the $50 a night for a hotel, and so I think you spent a few nights in the car.
That was. Did I do that in the Tesla?
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't the Tesla.
I did some experiments in the Tesla since, but then I think that video must have been in a white BMW, where I kind of like went through Grand Canyon and all that, and I just kind of slept in the car the whole time.
Yeah. Now, how much of that was to save money versus how much was just this is good content for YouTube?
I think probably, I don't know, 80% to save money. I think it was like mainly like I wanted to do it, and because it's a really long trip, it was like, the longer it is, the more expensive it gets if you stay at hotels, and
staying in your car is also very convenient.
Yes, and uncomfortable.
True.
I did one when I went to Maui. I stayed in the car. I don't know if you know about that one, but it got a little dangerous.
What happened?
Because I had to roll the windows down, and a random person came and stole my food that was in my car.
No,
so
wait,
they came and robbed me.
You were in the car when the food was stolen?
I was asleep.
Whoa.
And because it was really hot in Maui and the window was down, he kind of reached in, and then after he took the stuff, I don't know why I'm talking about this story.
I know, it's interesting.
But he woke me up, and then he's like, "Hey, he has my bread and peanut butter," and then I got really angry and got out and like confronted him and took it back.
He just gave it to you back?
No, I snatched it from him.
No, but he woke you up. Like you were sleeping, and so he took it and then woke you up to show you what he just did.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
He woke me up, and then I don't know what he wanted some water on top of that.
So he's like, this peanut butter and bread isn't enough. Give me your water.
But obviously the guy's not of sound mind. Why get it back? Why not just say it's peanut butter and bread? I'm gonna give this guy the thing just to go away. Because what if he was like wanted to fight you, or you got in a fight, or he had a weapon, or like.
I think part of the reason that made me go do it was because he didn't look that threatening to me.
Okay.
Like I felt like I if it comes down to it, I might be able to take him on.
Is it worth it?
I don't know, but
worth it for the
like if he showed some kind of dangerous things, I might have backed off. Right, but he didn't look threatening, and probably not the best decision at the moment. But anyway, I slept in the car there too. All that was an experiment, and if you anybody slept in the car before?
Yeah.
No? Yeah.
I think I've probably taken a nap in the car, but never like overnight.
It's very uncomfortable because it's not flat, so you learn a lot about flatness. If you park your car on a steep hill or something, like you can't sleep very well. And then like the incline of the back seat, if it's slightly tilted, you can't sleep well either. So not very comfortable. Maybe in the Tesla is okay. The Tesla, the back seat also, it has like a few degrees, so you gotta like make it.
So what are some of the frugal things that you used to do that you think now would just be a bad idea?
One time I tried to not have internet. How do you do that with being a YouTuber, right? But I used some sort of, like back then they had some kind of like WiMAX thing. So then I had like multiple accounts, and then you can add up to a lot of data because each one does like I don't know how many megabytes, 200 megabytes,
Sure.
or 1 gigabyte. It's just like, okay, I use this one. Okay, I finished using this one. Okay, I'll switch to the next one. Bad idea. But and another one is like I tried unplugging the microwave for a while.
Did you save anything?
Like for I think I did it for like a couple of weeks or something, and then I realized this is like I hate doing that. It's too much time.
What is
right?
the energy that it's doing? Is it just like the
light.
clock on it?
Yes, it's like a standby power, so it's 1 watt for continuously over an entire month. I forget what the numbers are.
Is it a watt an hour? 1 watt an hour?
1 watt. So then if you have it on for an hour, it's 1 watt hour.
So 24 watts a day times
24.
30, so 600.
So how much would that cost?
So that's about, let's say that's about 1 kilowatt hour, and that costs about 25 cents.
Yeah. So you're basically getting paid a penny
Per day.
No,
per day
less because
Yeah.
you probably
Oh, yeah,
have
yeah.
to do it a couple of times a day.
Oh yeah.
So each time you do it is less than half a penny. So I didn't really do that for very long. I just
Yeah.
tried it, but there are many of these things. I think you gotta push too hard if you want to save a lot of money. You gotta push a little too hard, and then when you and then you realize that you pushed a little too hard, it's too much. Then you come back a little bit.
You know what? I loved those videos that you did because I'm always curious in the back of my mind how much you would save by doing that. And you've done these videos where you've broken them down. Perfect example of this. And there's so many videos of yours that I sincerely really like a lot. And one of them was the shower video. How much you would save by not taking a shower at your house and instead using water at the gym. And I think you calculated. Yeah, I think you calculated it was about 25 cents a day is how much you would save if you took 1 shower a day at the gym.
Oh yeah, I think I had to add in the cost to heat the water because that is the major cost. And then you got to look at the cost to heat the water. I think it comes in like therms or something, right?
Yeah.
And then you got to do like, okay, what's the typical ambient temperature of the water to the water temperature that you're
This is
using,
the engineering degree,
right?
like
And then it flows through the pipes and it drops several degrees, etc.
I love those videos, and I think if you made more videos like that on topics that people would just be curious about,
but not necessarily do.
right? But that's always been in the back of my mind. Of when I was going to the gym, I used to go to 24-hour fitness, and I'd go every single morning. I was thinking, well, I'd never really use the gym there. What happens if I just use the shower there? How much would I save by doing that? I wouldn't probably do it, but I would just be curious what that would add up to.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
I think in my when I was in engineering, some of my coworkers would shower at work. And some people shower at the gym.
The one I'd be curious about, you might have a video about this, is how much you would save if you waited all day to flush the toilet. Like only 1 flush a day. Like I told Jack was flushing that when he was in the guest house, he's flushing the toilet too much. And
there's no such thing as flushing the toilet too much.
You never calculate how much it costs to flush once?
I calculated that I think it was about a penny a flush.
I calculated
Did you
it
calculate?
first of all, and it was just under a penny per flush.
It was under because we had a 3-gallon flush, so I'm like, that's 3 gallons of water per flush. It wasn't a low flow.
I calculate about half a penny per flush or per gallon.
Per gallon.
That's what I calculated as well.
So
Yeah,
3 gallons. So that's 1.5 cents.
Yeah.
was it 3
flush.
gallons?
But
Yeah. But that's not a low flow toilet.
you can flush all day long and it won't dent anything, right?
So he told me this while he's still making like $5 million a year, and I walk out of the bathroom. He's all, "Hey man, is there any chance maybe you could just like tone it down with the flushes? Maybe like if you're peeing, just don't flush it."
Because that's what I do. I mean,
I guess you could.
But dude, if you pee, it sometimes leaves a ring around the toilet, and then like
don't wait that long. But but throughout the day, like
there's a smell.
No, but
there is an odor.
But depends how much you drink. Like Macy makes these smoothies, and I have one of these smoothies, and I swear I have to go like every 20 minutes after that for the next like 2 hours. And so now I've purposely had to drink. I wait to drink the smoothies during a time where like I'm not as busy because I just have to mentally, like, I have to go every 20 minutes afterwards. I don't know, but during that time, I'm not gonna be like flash. It seems like a waste.
I saw a video he did where he turned a reusable the flosser into he made a one-time flosser into a reusable flosser. And that's how I knew that.
I like that video.
You bring up these embarrassing things. Now I look back at them and I'm like, that might have been.
I like all of those videos.
You really like them.
You have to understand. I think for your audience, that's what makes you. And when I see a video like that, I watch it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Because these are all things that like people kind of think about in the back of their mind,
but they don't do.
But they're not going to do. But you do it, and we could experience that.
It's like extreme cheapskates. Those videos get millions of views. Everyone loves it.
I love it especially. See, I get ideas. See, but some people make fun of it. I watch those videos and I get ideas. Like the person who reused their not their toilet paper, but the paper towels. Makes sense. They dry out. They're just as good. If it's just water.
It's true.
Sure.
Yeah. Seriously, now with paper towels.
I mean, it's a lot of time.
With paper towels, if I do a whole thing of paper towel and I'm just cleaning off water, I usually leave it. I don't throw it away because if I
but you know what that means? Macy's going to walk, or I'm going to walk in there. I'm going to see a paper towel and I'm like, well, I don't know what this was used to clean up, and I'll throw it away.
Just leave it. Just leave it alone.
Okay. From now on,
for water and stuff like that, it makes it. If I'm just cleaning up water, I leave it there. But in a few hours it's dry, I do it again.
Dry your hands after you washed your hands, and you dry it with water.
I don't use paper towels to dry my hands. I use the
towel.
towel. Yeah.
I don't even dry them. Oh, I just wanted to bring up the whole idea of like when you finally decided to quit and ease a little bit off of YouTube, all of this free time that you had, you spent it, you said, thinking about life and just kind of like sitting around and not doing much. And you said it wasn't very fulfilling.
It always feels like I'm about to come up with something, like I'm coming to a new epiphany, kind of, right? It's like, oh, I'm gonna it feels like you're almost there, but then nothing really happens, I guess, right? So, like if you ask me, what's the result of all of that, it's just like, well, it might be because it might be that if you retire, you're gonna have too much time to think, and it's just gonna drive yourself crazy. It's better to have something to do, I'd say.
So your average day nowadays is kind of just like, can you walk me through it?
Average day, I wake up, I drink milk tea. That's my drink of preference. And I read some news. I might jot down some ideas for videos. Because I suddenly became a little bit more active in making more videos now. So then I've changed. But if you're asking about what I did, when I was lazy, that's much different, right? I think you're asking about that, right? Being lazy means scrimping on stuff that. Because when you're lazy and you don't do much, then you end up not earning much. And then you also kind of, I guess my hobby is kind of like scrimping, I guess, saving money here and there. Like, this deal, whatever deal, I go and get that deal. And, I can like be really on top of it. It's like they have something and you have to like, sometimes you have to like get it right away. Right, or else it disappears. So I can be on top of that and just kind of do small money things, which I would say many of my subscribers hate. Yeah.
But you spent all this time thinking about the life and the purpose of life. What have you figured out about that?
Meaning of life.
Yeah.
What's the meaning of life? I guess I'm not going to have like, an answer for that, like right off. It's like, I can allude you to the Maslow's hierarchy, like self-actualization, but then doing something that you're good at, that can provide, that can help other people, that can make you money and all that. Then if you do that, then you can feel fulfilled. It's more about like, it's also about like, what are you happy doing, right? But you can't be happy just doing entertaining things. You can't like entertain yourself and like go on vacations all the time, just indulging in stuff. Like it's much better to kind of work at something, I think. Like you can do it for a longer duration. You can do it for really long if you work at something, because it's satisfying to work at something versus, if you're a tourist, if you, I don't know what kind of leisurely things, right? Like go fishing, right? Go bowling, whatever sport activities. I don't know. It's like it just doesn't cut it. You gotta do what you're good at, what you love doing, what you're, all of that in one thing. And if you can go do that, and I think that would make things meaningful. It's like, meaning of life is what's meaningful to you. Anybody can make meaning out of anything. Like it only matters to you. You know what I mean? Like,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And right now, would you say, with everything going on, would you say you're pretty fulfilled?
I'm okay. I think I would say after retiring, I think I kind of like went down in the toilet. Yeah. Like I think I might have been a bit miserable at work because of my job, but then at least at the time I was like happy, kind of like what do you call
What, you're
hustling?
Busy, yeah,
hustling,
you're working, yeah.
That was the fun part, and sometime afterwards. But then I think right when I decided to retire, quote unquote retire, that was when things kind of went downhill. It wasn't fun. It's fun for, like, you think it's fun,
right, for a little bit, but
everybody would think it's fun.
Yeah.
For like, what would you do if you don't have to work for money, right? Like, for me, you just do whatever you want, right? You might have a huge to-do list. I like knocked every single item off. It's like, oh, I'm done with everything I ever need to do. And then it's like, okay, now what do I do? Okay, I'm gonna twiddle my thumb. I'm gonna paint the walls. Yeah. I guess I found some stuff that would occupy my time, that takes a long time to do. But then ultimately, it's like, why are you doing that? Or why was I doing that?
Do you have any hobbies?
Yes.
What are they?
I had too many before. I've kind of narrowed them down because I don't know. I guess I wasn't interested in them as much anymore. But they include, top of the list is fixing electronic gadgets. I love doing that. Like, I have a little lab at my house with electronic gear.
Okay.
I like to go to the driving range. That's fun. Like going camping. Yeah.
Do you think that this feeling that you had after retiring is like a causation of early retirement, or do you think this is just how you treated early retirement that led to you feeling like this, like, not emptiness or anything to be dramatic, but just like this unfulfillment?
I think it's probably my fault, I guess, because I think when you retire, you actually need something to retire to. You need a plan to keep you busy, very busy. Like, I guess maybe I didn't have a solid enough a plan. Like, it just kind of fell into doing a little bit of YouTube and then a little less. And then and then you end up, well, I end up doing just whatever. It's like there wasn't any set goal or anything, and I think that's the drawback. Maybe if you plan on retire, you have some side project that you like, a really big one that would take up all your time. I think that would help a lot.
What would you say your next goal is? Do you have like a net worth goal? Do you have a YouTube goal?
I guess I wish to further my channel.
I'll tell you how you do that. Finance content.
More finance.
I think the frugal stuff. The finance stuff is all covered. You've got that covered. Kevin's got that covered.
No, but not in the way that you do it. That's what I'm saying. I think it's finance, early retirement, frugal living. If you posted 2 to 3 videos a week on those subjects, or calculating out how much you could save by
making small changes that everyone wants to know about, but they don't do it.
Like, let's say doing a garden. Like, instead of going and buying a salad, you now make your own salad in the garden.
Buying 2-ply and then separating each
that's a
versus
good one.
doing one.
That's a great one.
And
I like that one.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You want me to do that?
Well, I'm sure it'd be a great, it'd be hilarious. You'd be
ideas like that people are curious about but wouldn't want to try on their own.
Ridiculous things that
yeah,
people might do.
Drinking tap water instead of bottled water. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of stuff that buying generic instead of name brand.
But the thing is, I think the very scrimping kind of videos are the ones that doesn't do too well, actually, for my channel.
Could be. I'm interested in those videos.
You like
I watch those videos, but maybe that's true. The broad financial topics, I think if you did that, 500,000, you could probably do that, I would say, within the next 6 to 12 months. It's posting 3 videos a week, finance. And the rewards. I love the credit card rewards videos. You did a video about Google Pay. I liked that one where you get like an instant $20 for free. I love those videos.
Alex is a long-term subscriber.
Yes.
And he said he was extremely excited to meet you today. Do you have any input on this subject?
Yeah. Alex was a huge fan, by the way. So when I said we have Beat the Bush coming, I was no way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Alex.
Thanks. I mean, we have a lot of similarities. I also repair electronics.
Oh,
and,
yeah? Awesome.
You know, sometimes I fix things that cost too much. Like, I'll sit there for 2 hours when I could have bought it for like $15, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's the most satisfying. Fix anything, really. Keep it from the landfill.
Exactly. I agree.
Did you have any idea on what direction he could take his content in?
I mean, I think I'm one of the odd viewers because I watch him because of the personality.
That's true.
Like when he attached a cup to a gimbal. I thought that was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I like that one a lot. You went running with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not the right, to be honest, for success, you know, I'm not the right guy to ask. But I value the content.
Alex will watch anything.
Thanks, Graham.
So what questions do you have for us? Do you have anything for Jack or I or Alex? This is your chance to ask us any questions if you have any.
I guess when I make the finance videos, I kind of get bored of it. But you have this drive to go at it, to keep on hustling. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I have so much fun with it though. There are those videos where I'm talking to Jack. I'm like, I don't want to make another passive income video, but they do well. So there are times I would say 1 video a week is usually one of those ones where I'm like, I have to make a video on something. What's the most interesting that I could do that an audience?
But you do it anyway. You're like I don't know. You got that drive.
Oh yeah.
Where does it come from?
I don't know. I won't let myself miss an upload. Part of it could be a minor like OCD. There could be like something in my brain because I cannot miss an upload. I get panicky if I ever get close to like being behind or not posting. I lose it. Like I will get an upload done.
I know the feeling, and I used to do that. I think, yeah. It's. Yeah. I think it's after reaching the retirement goal. It's like, oh, I missed one. Oh, I missed another one.
So that's what I've been telling Jack this too. I am so afraid because I've seen so many people go down that path of just it all starts with just missing one.
Yeah, you
Nothing
have to
bad
stick.
happened. All right, things are pretty much the same. Not a big deal. It's easy to miss another one. Nothing bad happened. Then it's like more frequent. Then, you know what? And once you're off that, I don't want to call it a hamster wheel, but once you're off of that, it becomes that much harder to get back on. I think it's the same thing going to the gym. If you're at the gym every day, you're going to keep going every day. But as soon as you give yourself that excuse of I don't need to go today, it's easy to fall off. And I know I can't keep up my current schedule. Once I stop, I'm gonna look back at this and be like, I don't know how I did it. I have no clue.
But you must have had some kind of goal, right? And you found huge success so far. You must have reached it and beat it long ago.
Oh yeah.
But after you beat it, then you kept on going.
I just enjoy it.
You just
enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of diminishing returns at a certain point, but I have so much fun, and I just now it's become more of like not a game, but I enjoy it. I think it's fun. I just think it's really cool.
I think that's the thing.
And yeah,
to really be good at what you do.
Yeah.
You gotta really enjoy it.
Yeah, but then it's also like the other benefits that you get from it. Just getting to meet all these other people that I wouldn't ordinarily get exposed to, and learning different industries. Like I'd have no idea about startups. Like I'd have no clue how to get into that. But now I've started to get introduced to people who are doing that and like creating their own businesses. And like that wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for YouTube. So now the benefits of YouTube are like they're extending beyond just how much money you would make, but just also then the connections and the outreach that you could get. Plus, I have fun with it.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank
It is
you.
an honor to meet you.
Thanks
We
for having
really
me.
appreciate it. And yeah.
This is really good. You have no idea because I swear I've been watching you for like five and a half years. The very beginning, you were under 10,000 subscribers.
It's this weird thing on YouTube, right? Where like I see my videos and then I see your videos
Yeah.
or like, oh, there he is. And
Yeah.
you must be like, oh, look.
Yeah.
It's like, you're on the internet and you kind of see each other's stuff once in a while. And
Yep.
Now we're here.
It's cool, and this is what I love about YouTube is that like I feel like I knew you instantaneously. Like when you showed up at the front door, it's like I already know who you are.
Yeah.
And like I feel like we're already friends, even though we hadn't ever met before. And it was just from seeing you on YouTube for like 5 years.
Very nice.
Thank you very much.
you.
We appreciate
Thanks
it a
for having
ton.
me.
And yeah,
Until next time, guys.
until next time.
Thanks. Cool. Thank you so much. That was easy. Thanks for doing this.